Okay, Christina here to listen to some music. And today's music selection is Lumiere from Clair Obscur Expedition 33. So apparently, this is a soundtrack to a video game. I don't know much about current video games. I played some Nintendo and even a little Atari 2600 back in the day, but kind of got out of the habit the last, 20 years. So I don't know much about the entire industry. I do love movie soundtracks though. Big fan, especially the symphonic ones, but all of it. I love all of the music for soundtracks, and I do hope to have more on the channel. So this one has come highly recommended, and apparently there is an awards ceremony coming up, and it's up for a lot of those awards. So hope it does well. But I am excited to hear it. I have no idea what we're getting into here. And so what are we going to do with this music when we hear it? I am a professional classically trained musician, instrumentalist, vocalist, composer, and professor. So I dig into all the different details of this music, how it was composed, all the different instruments that were used. I might do some demos, talk about a little bit of theory or music terms, and we just discuss, why do we like this music? Or maybe why do we not like it? So enough delay, let's see what this is all about. Let's listen. All right, we're ready. Here we go.
Dim, dam, dadilam, vacarme, s'en va dans l'oubli éternam, et Gustave dom guardeam, dilim, didididilam, lutes sera dodilam, seram, dim, dim, da, 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 dim, da, 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 dim, da, di, dam. Dim dim da 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 dim dim da 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 dim da di dam. Dans là-haut sera ravi, les toits à sœur noir gris fera. Clair obscur, trouble de rature, courbera effet. Clair obscur, bordé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle. Clair obscur, double de rature, courbera effet. Clair obscur, bordé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle. Oh, clair.
Okay. Yeah, this is neat. It's very charming, very French, and it's very perfect. And I always say on the channel that you don't have to be perfect. You can just be okay. But every now and then, it's fine to appreciate some perfection. This so far is perfection. It's very well balanced, yet it's simplistic in nature. The instrumentation is lovely. Piano, guitar, 2 cellos, a bass, and maybe 2 violins and a viola, or at least 3 violins, and then this lovely vocalist. And the pizzicato and the flowing lines, but then also her voice coming in and almost imitating the pizzicato. Pizzicato is just pits, just plucking the strings. It just all works very, very well. So balanced. My composer ears are very, very happy. And again, it's charming. But also there's a little bit something kind of lonely about it. Okay, I'm going to back it up just a little bit and continue on. This is great so far.
Clair obscur, bordé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle. Oh, clair obscur, trouble rature. Clair obscur, guardé aux peintures. Clair obscur, trouble de rature, courbera effet. Clair obscur, guardé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle. Clair obscur, trouble de rature, courbera effet. Clair obscur, guardé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle.
Okay, so we're headed into verse 3. Beautiful little violin and cello duet there with the guitar in the background. Excellent piano solo. I love how the instruments are being brought in and the camera work around it. It's coordinated with it and it does add to it. But if we were just listening and not watching, I would still have that captured in my mind. There was one part in there when the bass finally came in and that pluck in there that she got was just perfect. And it is a viola, 2 violins, a viola. The treble voices on the left, it really lovely string musicians. All of them, the pianist, guitar, all, and then the 2 vocalists. It's just, like I said, it's just a little moment of perfection. And again, the basic melodies from this, the harmonies are somewhat simple, but all of the ornate textures from all of the instruments and the way they're brought in and layered in is what makes it special. Okay, let's back it up a little bit. Hear the end of that violin cello duet. It's really nice. I can't wait to hear the ending.
Obscur, guardé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle. Clair obscur, trouble de rature, courbera et fait. Clair obscur, guardé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle.
Goodness, well, you all know I love a good ending, and the balance was kept in that state of perfection right to the very end. Oh my goodness. And the instrumentation that was used, the duets, well, first of all, the building up of the whole ensemble, it started with the one cellist with the pitzing, and it kind of came back to that. It ended with that as well. The bookends, love that. But then how it brought in all of the voices, the instruments. And then we had the choir. I love a good choir. Excellent choir, had depth to it. Some good baritones and basses in that choir. But the duets, so the 2 singers singing the duet, and then the cellists had a little bit of a duet, and then the cello and violin, and then we had a viola solo. It was lovely. The piano solo. At the very end, then also the guitar and the piano were doing something. The guitar was a dun 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 dun, and the piano was way up high, like an octave or more higher. You could just barely tell that she was playing. I think that was over the top of the viola solo. Excellent little viola solo as well. The dum bum ba da da dum bum bum. That motif is strong. There's not much to it, but you don't need that much to it. And it sounds really good on all of these instruments. So one thing I like about this is that it starts out small and grows, and when it grows, it just blossoms. But then we go back to this again, it just sits there and waits and hides, and then it blossoms again, and then we have the choir, and then, and so when it is in its full bloom, it is just absolutely gorgeous. It fills the space. Okay, so definitely French. It's all sung in French. And the style of it, it's reminding me of, well, first of all, Edith Piaf, who is a beloved French singer. The style of the vocalist, the soloist there, kind of reminded me of Edith Piaf. But then there was also something in the instrumental parts that reminded me of the soundtrack to Amélie. I believe that's Jan Tiersen. And the person who composed this is Lorien Testard. So I don't know if the composer of this was inspired by those other two things. There's nothing wrong with that, because both of the Amélie soundtrack and Edith Piaf is just very French. And so it's fine to embrace that. And it's not copying, it's just influence. But there's meaning to that influence. And I feel like I caught on to that. So I don't know what they were singing. My French is not good enough to catch all the words. But Clair Obscur, Clair Obscur. Doesn't that mean clear but obscured? So it's like an oxymoron. But lumière is, what is that, light? I don't know. Again, my French is not that great. But all of this put together is really fascinating. All right, so I want to hear the beginning and then compare it to the end. I want to hear these bookends. So here's the beginning with this cello pizz. I guess solo. He's got the intro. And the little offbeats. More duets. Good harmonies. Lovely guitar. Okay, and so the lowest voice right now is coming from the guitar. And there's the bass. Oh, I love that moment. So still the strings are sort of yum, bum, 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 like the cellos, viola, and violins. And so I think the bass notes were coming from the guitar there, but then we got the bass. I was waiting for the bass to come in. Let's hear that again. I want to hear the guitar notes again.
Dim dim da 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 dim dim da 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 dim da di dum. Ton là-haut sera ravi, les toits à sœur noir gris fera. Clair obscur, trouble de rature, trouvera effet. Clair obscur, bordé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle. Clair obscur, trouble de rature, trouvera.
Excellent string players.
Clair obscur, bordé aux.
Okay, sorry. I'm running away with myself here. I could just keep going and watching them and listening. All right, I want to go to the end now and compare the beginning to the end, how it all wound down. So we've seen how they brought the guitar in, they brought the cellos in, they brought everything in, but let's see how it's dispersed at the end. So guitar a little bit, and the viola solo there. Very happy that they gave the viola solo. They don't always get solos. Fine violist. Okay, now see the piano? Love that. That's what she was playing over the top of the guitar. Did you see that? It took me a second just to realize what she was doing. There we go. Oh, and then the guitar ended up on the top note. Oh, I love this interplay. Again, it's that simple motif, yum bum ba da da dum, but then how everything is weaving in between, and then yum bum bum ba ba ba, all those different little textures. Okay, got to hear the choir part again. They just sort of came out of nowhere. I was like, what? And it was glorious. Let's see. And I love how they all have a flower. Oh yeah, it was after the violin-cello duet. There's that swell and the choir. Clair obscur, tu trouveras sans elle. Clair obscur, trouble de radio, courbera et fer. Clair obscur, tu trouveras sans elle. Yeah, so that's when we get into the viola solo, and then a little bit of the guitar on the top melody instead, but we're back to the pitzing with the cellos, which is where we started. So excellent choir. The depth in that choir, like I said, is just really great. And then also in that section, you could still hear the piano. It was so delicate. So much of this is so delicate. Okay, again, so the vocalist is just lovely. Her voice is very sweet and just sort of has youth and hopefulness in it. Even the way she's presenting it, she's sort of bouncing around as she's singing. It does harken back to the French tradition there with Edith Piaf. The quick vibrato and the diction that she sings, a lot of the words are closed off really quickly, and it just adds to the character of this piece. All right, so I want to go back to one more spot, the violin-cello duet. It was particularly beautiful. Well, of course, I'm going to think that, violinist. So let's hear it. There it is. Okay. So nice. That whoosh is just so nice. Oh, okay. That's what I love about this already. From down here to up here. Whew. Here, let's back it up even further. I know there's more to this duet. She just looked at the violin to see that it was a cue. Yep, they're communicating. And she's kind of leaning towards the cellist. They're playing towards one another. Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. So the violin went yum bum ba da dum, and then the cello went yum bum ba da dum, and they're in the same notes, but the timbre of the violin compared to the cello, there's going to be a difference, and it was a little bit here, a little bit there. And then they came together with their faster moving lines that are more arpeggiated, which just means like chords that are spread apart. So you go from lower notes all the way up to higher notes and all the way back down again. You can really rise and fall in those cascades. That was really great. I want to go back and hear that again. Let's see if we can catch that little violin cello handoff there. Violin and then cello. And now they're doing this. Well, I could just keep listening to this all night. So, but I won't keep you all here all night, I promise. It's just lovely. And with the voice over the top and the guitar as the accompaniment there, it's just well-balanced writing. It's the kind of writing that takes some education behind it, but also just takes a certain talent, I guess, for balance and working in balance with creativity, and then keeping in mind the voice ranges of each of the instruments. So in a live performance, this would probably be more difficult to keep it perfectly balanced. You can kind of work that magic in a recording studio. But then, this is chamber music. So we have symphony orchestras, and you have a conductor, and you've got like up to 85 people on stage, sometimes another 300 in the chorus behind you. It's a big group. But with chamber music, it's smaller. You don't necessarily have to have a conductor. Like with the string quartet, which is just violin, violin, viola, cello. So first violin, second violin, viola, and cello. You have to have that communication, that non-verbal communication. And one person also has to be the leader. So they bring certain instruments in, and then you hand it off from soloist to soloist. And your body language has to move in such a way that you can produce the music that's on the page correctly, but then you're able to freely communicate with everyone around you. And it can be quite an adventure on stage. But it's a lot of fun. Okay, you all know I can't resist. I need some sheet music for all of that. I could just get the main theme.
Clair obscur, tu trouveras sans elle. Clair obscur, tu trouveras effet. Clair obscur, tu trouveras sans elle.
You know, the pits. Lovely viola solo again. Really lovely. And the little piano on top. A lot of fun. Okay. That was Lumiere from Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. I really still have no idea what any of those words in the title mean, but that's okay. Eventually, maybe someday, I can check out the game. If any of you are gamers out there, let me know what this is about. If there are other selections in this soundtrack that are equally nice, also let me know what those are, because I would be interested in taking a look at them. But for now, this was very fulfilling on all sorts of levels. And I hope more music like this catches on out there. It's a great combination of modern technology and the classical music world. I've always thought that about soundtracks. And I believe that the music from soundtracks has slowly become more and more respected by the traditional classical world. So it's a bright future. All right. So will this go on my playlist? Yes, it will. I'm going to be listening to this one a lot. I'd love to get to play it someday. I saw sheet music on their stand, so maybe I can get a copy of it somewhere. I'd love to put an ensemble together and play this. It'd be really, really neat. Okay, so don't forget to do all the things, like and subscribe. You can find me on Patreon or Ko-fi. You can support the channel through Throne or become a channel member. And as always, just remember that you don't have to be perfect, even though some perfection moments are nice sometimes, but just be okay. And keep listening.